Hey guys, Nestler Magic here. Time for more Kamigawa spoilers. How broken is it gonna get today? Let's find out. Maybe we'll see another alternate win con. Maybe we'll see some more blue bounce back to hand crap. Maybe we'll see some more graveyard recursion. I think they just took everything everybody hates about the game, put it into a hat, and they just pick it out one at a time and then put it on a card. So, speaking of that, first up we've got Seven Tail Mentor. It's a 4-cost white 2/3 Fox Samurai creature, and when it enters the battlefield or dies, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. So it's like Luminarch Aspirant, except you have to actually do something to get the counter, and it only happens twice. And it costs double. See, this is what happens when you print Luminarch Aspirant, is everything after it people don't play. Well, don't worry guys, they rebalanced it in Alchemy, so everything's good now. Next up, Heir to the Ancient Fang. It's a 3-cost green 2/3 Snake Samurai, and Heir to the Ancient Fang enters battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it if you control a modified creature, which then this counts as another modified creature. I knew they would do something to make it easier, and easier would not be how I would define leaning into auras and equipment, so I think we're going to see a lot of counters, and I think that's going to kind of backfire. Especially because of Luminarch Aspirant. So next up, Network Disruptor, because this is literally Cyberpunk. It's a 1-cost blue Moonfolk Rogue 1/1 with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, tap target permanent. So the logical problem here is you're playing blue, and that's the end of that sentence. Just kidding. Basically, you're playing blue, and then you get one of the blockers out of the way, but you're playing blue, so it's obviously not like a highly aggressive blitz deck where you need every little, turn 3, 4, 5 to go perfectly. So obviously, this is just a ninjutsu target, because you can drop it back in over and over and over, because you have to return it to your hand with ninjutsu, and then you get the tap effect, and then you can get their only reach or flyers out of the way and get an auto hit. So I think people actually play this, and it's in common slot, so I think people are going to draft it too. So next up, we got Cyber Trespassers, of course, breaking into Cybercorp. It's a 5-cost 3/5 artifact creature Moonfolk Rogue with channel 4. Discard it, tap up to 2 target creatures you don't control, and then slam the person in the face with ninjutsu like an asshole. Just kidding, after paying 4 for channel, you do not have enough mana for ninjutsu. So those creatures do not untap during their controller's next untap step, so you could split it. Also, I don't see anything about, sorcery speed only. So looks like you can use channel, unless I'm wrong, and by I'm wrong, I mean unless they're wrong by not putting it on the card. You can use it during your opponent's end step, and boy, would you get some mileage. That's your next turn they're tapped, their next turn they stay tapped, your next turn they stay tapped, and then they finally untap during the next untap step at the start of your opponent's next turn. Yeah, double ice effect. Pretty spicy. It's a shame they mixed it with ninjutsu. Next up, we got some more blurry, barely readable crap from somebody who doesn't know how the internet works, but was sent a spoiler anyway. According to MythicSpoiler.com, it was the Maple Board Game Cafe. Whoever the hell you are, get your shit together. So anyway, Coiling Stalker, it's a 2-cost 2/1 Snake Ninja with Ninjutsu 2, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control that doesn't have a 1/1 counter on it, aka making it modified. Now, will people actually mix Ninjutsu and modified? I don't know. I mean, Ninjutsu is more of a black-blue thing, but I think this is just like an option card to go with either, but it's not very good, so it's probably another draft card. Because in draft, you would probably mix Ninjutsu with modified. You're going to be forced into it. Oh, unless you're drafting against the computer on Arena, then you could just cheat. You'll basically have a fully constructed deck. So next up, we got Inata, la Corona del Alba. Finalmente, we have one in Espanol. It's about damn tiempo. So this is not just a Kirin, but a Spirit Kirin. Legendary creature, 3-color, red, white, and blue. That color combination is commonly referred to by the players as Murica. If you're about to say Jeskai, the Jeskai aren't on Kamigawa. I don't know how else to put that. So if you're like, I'm running a Jeskai deck. No, you're not. And nobody thinks you're cool for memorizing these stupid little nicknames. It's Christmas, Candy Cane, Murica. Get it right, people. Anyway, it says Flying and Trample. It's a 4-cost 4/4. Okay. You guys seem to enjoy when I do this. So the next part, clear as day, says, spells that are thrown cost you 1 less for every objective. I actually thought there were missing words there, and I realized objetivo is obviously not object, it's objective. Because I was like, well, you're missing 2 words there. But no, they got it right as far as I could tell. Although, dirty little secret the Wizards doesn't want anybody mentioning, so obviously I'm going to. In every set that I have ever looked into in the last decade, there have been more than a dozen translation errors. Between German, French, Portuguese, everything together, they have never, as far as I know, made less than 12 translation errors, and usually it's somewhere closer to like 50. Their contractors are notoriously awful. I made an entire video about this. And they refuse that their multi-million-dollar company that made, I think, what was it, $2 billion in the last 4 years or something like that, They refuse to like spend, double on a translation company that knows what the hell they're doing. Or for another translation company to come in and double check it because, can't put another, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 at the problem? Wizard, some of your individual cards are worth upwards of $1,000 for God's sake. Oh, we can't hire another translator. We'd have to put in 6 additional masterpiece expeditions. And I get it. Okay, they don't directly sell singles except, well, they do. Anyway, also, spells that your opponents throw cost them 1 additional mana for every objective. That's kind of neat. I mean, it's like any target. Like even a multiplayer, it's any target. So it's just Ward 1 with like a universal discount. I don't know if that's worth playing these 3 colors. Probably not. And if I were to play 3 color enchantments, I don't think those would be my choices. Like I don't get the splash red. I don't get what that does for you. So just an interesting card, probably for Commander. I don't know. Next up, we've got Découvrir l'impossible. Just kidding, it's in English. Discover the impossible. 3-cost blue instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Exile 1 of them face down and put the rest of on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if it's an instant spell with mana value 2 or less. If you don't, put that card in your hand. Yeah, this is a counterspell fetcher. Yeah, this is not for standard. What more is there to say? We got so many look at the top of your library cards that the fact that this one is limited to 2 sort of, yeah, I don't see people playing this. Not when they just ban turns. Then again, I just got milled out by some jackass double cloning a fucking mill spell. Maybe assholes will play this shit. Who knows? Next up, we've got, Bugosho. Major look, it's a Moonsnare Adept. It's a 4-cost blue creature human ninja with Ninjutsu 3, and whenever Moonsnare Adept enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. Okay, I mean, that's weird to put on a Ninjutsu card, and then it goes off whether you jutsu it or not. Okay. Next up, Okiba Ambusher. It's a 4-cost black rat ninja, Ninjutsu 2, lifelink. A lot of filler. I should just be skipping these, but whatever. Next up, Shiga Okiba Gang Leader. It's a 3-cost 4/3, hello, black and white, legendary creature rat pilot. And at the beginning of combat during your turn, return target vehicle card from your graveyard onto the battlefield. It gains haste, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step. So resurrect it, use it once, hopefully, and then you get it back in your hand. That's kind of interesting. And then it's a vehicle. I mean, I hate vehicles and I hate graveyard recursion, but it's kind of neat. Next up, Boon of Bosaiju. So it's a 2-cost green instant. Target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest mana value among permanents you control. And then untap it, so you can use this as an instant speed ambush. Oh, this is a good card. This is a disgustingly good card. Next up, Go Shintai of Boundless Vigor. Oh, it's the Green Shrine. Why is it uncommon? Please don't tell me they're doing more than 5 shrines. Have I just missed it? I thought they were all rare. Anyway, legendary enchantment creature shrine, trample, and it's a 1/1, so that makes sense. But at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on target shrine for each shrine you control. Great. Next up, it's Tales of Master Seshiro. Oh, they could have named it Tales of Master Szechuan. That would have been awesome. Anyway, 5-cost enchantment Saga in green. 1 and 2 are both put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. It gains vigilance until end of turn. And then 3, exile it, flip it, and you get this boy. I'm just going to say it's Szechuan's Living Legacy. Enchantment creature snake warrior with vigilance and haste, and it's a 5/5. Not bad. This is just a modification booster. Don't get it twisted. That's what this is for. It's not for vehicles. Next up, Shigeki Visionario de... It's probably Jukai, even though it's in Spanish because it's a proper name and it's clearly Japanese. And yes, they did cram a comically high amount of letters in the type line just for the Spanish words. Criatura Encantamiento Legendario - Druida Vibora, which is, of course, Snake Druid. So you pay 2, tap it, and return it to its owner's hand, because we needed more of that. Reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put a land among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest into your graveyard. Okay, I mean, landfall's still a thing, so alright. I mean, it's 1/3 for 2, too. That's kind of nice. And then channel green XX. Discard this card, and then return X target non-legendary cards from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, I'd say black usually goes to the battlefield and green usually goes to hand, but really green doesn't do this at all. And I think with the amount of graveyard recursion we got, and then what else this guy does, and then he like feeds the graveyard, yeah, they went a little far with this one. Next up, we got Guardiana de Fusiones Orochi, which is, they claim Irachi Merge Protector. Clearly it's Irachi Fusion Protector, which sounds way cooler because DBZ. But if you pay 2, it's a 1/1 Snake Druid. You can tap it and add 1 green. And then while this card is modified, it has tap and aggregate 2 green mana. Yeah, not that hard to drop a counter on this. I think this is actually better than the if you control a creature 4 or bigger, then it taps for 2 green instead, which people played the hell out of that. Yeah, this was like way easier. Any aura, any equipment, which an aura would be a waste, but any counter, oh yeah. Now he switched to lithium batteries, all right. I mean, 2 is a lot, I'm just saying. Pretty spicy card. Next up, Bracelete Ilador, which I guess means spinner bracelet. It's a 3-cost artifact creature equipment spider. It has reach, and then of course you can equip it or de-equip it for 4, and then equipped creature has +1/+4 and reach. Anybody else strongly dislike these creature equipments? Next up, Ishin, or something like that. 2 heavens has 1. Anybody else having problems figuring out just from the cards who the hell is who? Because like all the names kind of sound similarly-ish to somebody who doesn't speak Japanese. And then all the artwork simultaneously looks all the same and then different between the different versions of the card. Like this guy on the other frame doesn't look anything like this guy on this frame. Allegedly, they're the same person. They're all just looking like similar styled armor, similar colors, similar hairstyles, similar backgrounds, similar weapons. I don't know who any of these people are or what they're doing, and I really am super disinterested in the lore, and I'm not going to read it. So they at least could make me figure out vaguely what the hell's going on the cards, but they failed to do that as well, because they couldn't even keep the characters consistent. Like, here, I'll put them up side by side. Yeah, there is a 30-year difference in age and completely different armor. Like, who is this? Anyway, this inconsistent guy is a 3/4 for white, red, black, so in other words, nobody's going to play him. And if a creature attacking would cause a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Oh, good. I was just hoping the one thing we needed was Panharmonicon. It's only creature attacking, so like it's not that bad, but I'm just sick of everything getting copied. I'm sick of spells, abilities, ETBs, triggers, creatures, cards. Lithoform engine, that thing should have been banned 100 years ago. I'm just sick of it. I want people to have a reasonable number of permanents, reasonable number of casts with a reasonable number of cards, and to actually have it matter or have the person give a shit if they run out of cards in hand. Instead of, oh look, I did this little tiny thing passively with no penalty, no downside, and I got 2 of it. Woo, fair. The game at a fundamental level does not support doubling. Doubling anything, literally anything. Damage, life gain, anything. It's too powerful. Just right off the bat, it's too powerful. In a general sense, and there are exceptions, doubling anything is too powerful. And yet they keep doing it because Mark Rosewater is an obsessed moron. So next up, Blade of the Oni, the 37th mythic or whatever. I gotta count them at some point. This is too many. So it's a 2-cost 3/1 artifact creature equipment demon with menace, and equipped creature has base power and toughness 5/5, has menace, and is a black demon in addition to its other colors and types. Reconfigure for with double black. Oh good, a 5/5 with menace that moves around. Great. Next up, Okaba's Rescue. It's a 4 or 5-cost black sorcery. Return target creature or vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. How much fucking recursion is in this stupid fucking set? Then put 2 1/1 counters on it if you control an artifact and an enchantment. Oh great, at least it's 5 so nobody will play it. Next up, Thirst for Knowledge. It's a 3-cost. Who the hell is that? Is that supposed to be, what's his face? But with like blonde dreadlocks now for some reason? They don't even attribute the quote in the flavor text to anyone. Come on. Whatever, Tezzeret got a hold of some bleach. I don't know what happened. 3-cost blue instant, draw 3 cards. Oh, that's a Tezzeret card. Then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact. Okay, I'm 1000% sure that's Tezzeret. What the hell did he do with his hair? Really? Hey, 57-year-old white guy who lives in Seattle. What do they do in that there Japan over there? I think a lot of them, if they want to be cool, they dye their hair. They bleach it. They bleach it lighter. Okay, let's have Tezzeret do that. That would be wild. That'd be something for them. There are kids there. They'd appreciate that Japanese culture. And add robots. Mech suits. My kid watches Gundam Wing. Anyway, they'll probably end up cloning this stupid spell. Next up, Raito Sentinel. It's a 3-cost colorless artifact creature construct, 3/3 defender, and when it enters battlefield, target player mills 3 cards. Then if you pay 3, with no tap abilities, you can do it multiple times, put target card from a graveyard onto the bottom of its owner's library. That kind of works with some things, okay. Next up, Kami of Industry, aka Super Monkey. I knew there had to be another monkey. Unfortunately, this one's dead because it says creature spirit. So it's a common 5-cost single red, so it's probably not very good. 3/6, when Kami of Industry enters the battlefield, return to Monke. Oh, I read that wrong. Return target artifact card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Yeah, kind of an okay draft card. All right. Next up, Ronin Reforzado. Yeah, I know it's not that hard of a Z. Okay, I can never get that right. It's an artifact creature, Samurai Umano. Hooray for the Umanos, even though the rats are clearly going to win. Just kidding. They're all going to come together for the combined threat and fight the Jin Gataxias. Or Gataxias, or whatever his name is. You know, I'm just going to call him Jim. I'm sure they're going to be like, future. No, tradition. No, we don't give a shit. Roar. Let's all fight. Oh, crap. Jin's about to, like, blow up our entire realm or some shit. And then it's Tammy the Moon, Cyborg, and Jim versus Japan. And then probably no conclusion, and you gotta guess, and then on the next episode, Dragon Ball Z, you'll find out what happens. Would not be the only time that Wizards had like, we'll find out later what happened to the plane. I can't actually think of an example where they didn't do that. Monke, Ixalan, everywhere. I didn't even read Crimson Vow. I hope all the vampires died and went extinct. Anyway, this dumb card has haste. Yeah, sure, that's what that means. And at the commencement of your final step, regress this card to the hand, and then the word proprietary for some reason. So once again, this used to be a mechanic. They put it on goblins. They would enter the battlefield for cheap and then hit and then leave, and it was really f***ing annoying. And the entire community hated it. So obviously they brought it back, but then also it has channel. Pay 2, discard it, and rob a card. Fantastic. So keep hitting them with a creature that can't be removed from play easily until a 2/2 is no longer relevant, and then get a free card out of it. Which really is just what everybody hated about that stupid mechanic. I don't know what else to say. Next up, Acquisition Octopus. That's a real thing now. So it's an artifact creature, Equipment Octopus, 2/2 for 3 in blue, and whenever it is it or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, and then reconfigure 2. One of the better ones, actually. Next up, March of Burgeoning Life. It's a green plus X instant. It's a rare. Ooh, buckle up. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may exile any number of green cards from your hand. Oh, it's one from that cycle. Cool. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. So in other words, add 2 to X for each card exiled that way. And then choose target creature with mana value less than X. Search your library for a creature card, oh great, with the same name as that creature. Put it onto the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle. So it's kind of cloning, but you have to have another one in your library, and you gotta pay full amount plus 1 for it. I mean, I guess I'm not that opposed to it. It's better than just, oh, my land, Litjara, that I dropped in for nothing, it's cloning this, and also it comes out with a counter, so f*** you. Still legal, by the way. It's actually in like 3 of my decks. Very, 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 very often in that deck do I end up with not just like 5 or 6 copies of the same card, but a card that I stole from my opponent. So, I mean, if you're going to do cloning, do it this way. This isn't even honestly that good of a card. But outside of standard, you can do some messed up crap to that. Next up, When We Were Young, which is awfully close to a D&D spell title that everybody hated. Anyway, it's a 4-cost white instant, and up to 2 target creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn. If you control an artifact and an enchantment, these creatures also gain lifelink until end of turn. Now, if it costs 3, it would be a pretty darn competitive card, but yeah, I think this is like a rare ambush, absolutely mop the floor with your opponent draft card, and it is worth every penny of the 4 mana. By the way, flavor text, you guys are going to kick out of this one, see if you can spot what I think is the flaw. Since Imperial custom strictly forbade the Emperor to reveal her name, even to Kaito, her closest childhood friend, she had to suffer him calling her your Emperorness for much of their shared youth. Okay, let me break it down. First of all, who the hell is that? Because I thought that they made the Wanderer the Emperor. Like, didn't I miss that? Also, it wouldn't be your Emperorness, it would be your Empressness. And also, I still don't think that's a word. I don't know if that's the thing, like, haha, dumb cute kid saying a word wrong, haha, funny. Or if he was like saying it to tease her or something, I don't know. So I don't know what the hell's going on here. I refuse to read the story. So moving on, we've got Ciervo Florecido. And it has Alcance, which means you just barely undercooked the pasta. Just kidding, it's reach. It's a 5-cost green 4/4 Espiritu and God, that's enough words I don't even want to read it in English. I'm just going to cheat. When Blooming Deer enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library, reveal a creature or enchantment card from among them, and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the library or at the bottom of your library in a random order. If you didn't put a card in your hand this way, gain 4 life. I mean, there's better fetchers than this, but then you get a creature out of it. But like when neither one of them are quite justifying the 5, it would not normally make its way into a constructed deck. But, you know, once again, about 50% of the cards, I think is what Wizards stated at one point, not sure if it's still true, are draft cards. They're not really meant for constructed. Although legendary tier clueless out of touch dumbass Aaron Forsyth said in an interview that he thought, get this, collected company was going to be a stupid gimmicky draft/sealed card that people just played once in a while and maybe haha something funny happened. And now it's pretty much considered the most powerful tribal card in existence, at least in green, in multiple formats. So that's why when designing a set for 2 completely different purposes, but then it's like both halves of the set are legal in both purposes, that's how they keep fucking up. In case you're wondering how they keep absolutely printing shit that just runs out of control, it's because they've split it between 2 different purposes, and in my opinion, they should just drop draft. But draft is probably more popular than constructed right now, but that's because the draft cards ruined constructed. So what they should do is just drop one of the 2, and I wouldn't drop the constructed aspect in a deck building TCG. Also, their playtesting are morons, and allegedly the CEO on down were pushing everybody to print more powerful shit and power creep it. And now look where we're at. They're at the point of not even being able to undo it unless they invent a new format and call it alchemy, to which then they jacked up the power level of that even higher than standard constructed. Because that's what people said they wanted in Mark Rosewater's poll. Boy, how out of touch are these idiots. Next up, let's see, I think we've seen this one before. Yeah, it's Kura the Boundless Sky. I've already covered it. All right, next up, Replication Specialist. Oh, that name better not mean what I think. Okay, 5 cost 3/4 Moonfolk Artificer. Okay, it obviously does. Flying, great. Whenever a non-token artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2 with 1 blue in there. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that artifact. Oh, fantastic. That'll be so fun when people start cloning their Maul the Skyclave's Dancing Sword, the Artifact Land Treasure Vault, Maskwood Nexus, Bag of Holding, Cosmos Elixir, Pithing Needle, Dollhouse of Horrors, or any of the many, many vehicle horrors in this set. Oh, that'll be a treat. At least this costs 5. That's a little high for what it does, honestly. Next up, Roaring Earth. It's a 2-cost green enchantment. Whenever land enters the battlefield under control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Ooh, that is insane, and this by itself is an enchantment. And then everything you have will be considered modified within a couple turns. Plus Landfall, plus Scoot Swarm, plus, create a cat and all this other shit that people play in Landfall. Yeah, this is nuts. But wait, there's more. Channel, double green plus X, discard Roaring Earth, put X 1/1 counters on target land you control. It becomes a 0/0 green spirit creature with haste. It's still a land. For that extra little FU in case you don't want to drop it into play. I can't wait till we see whatever card clones enchantments, because obviously that's coming, unless I already missed it. Oh, well, obviously, Lithoform mentioned, but besides that, you know what? That is all we need, actually. There it is. Next up, Mech Hanger. Strangely not an artifact land. I thought for sure they would do that. Tap it, add 1 colorless, add 1 mana of any color, spend this mana only to cast a pilot or vehicle spell, and then 3, tap it, target vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. An auto-piloting land. Okay, vehicles might have a little bit of juice behind them, but I don't think that they stand up to the tier 1 decks right now. Next up, Kotos the Silent Spider, a 5-cost black and blue 4/4, legendary creature human ninja, and then they wrote a small book equivalent to a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Oh, good. When Kotos the Silent Spider enters battlefield, exile target card in an opponent's graveyard other than a basic land card. Search that player's graveyard, hand, or library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then the player shuffles. For as long as you control Kotos, you may play one of the exiled cards, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. So they took every single black and blue trope that people hate, mixed them together, and put them on one card. Great. Keep your hands and your eyes off of my fucking hand and get out of my fucking library. Sincerely, every single Magic player in the entire community. Oh, and this card's basically unplayable in paper because they're going to sit there and sort through one at a time, take notes, and all this other horse shit that they're allowed to do for some reason. In digital, it's just a couple clicks, which it's Arena, they'll still take 60 seconds because in the middle of deciding they'll get up and start microwaving a burrito or something. I don't know what the hell's wrong with people on Arena. They're probably on mobile and drop Signal for the 37th time and still think everything's peachy. Yeah, this is just cancer. I hate everything, every single thing about this card. And that's the last card, so we're leaving off on that pile of shit. Wonderful. Awesome. This set's going to be a disaster. So thanks for watching, I guess, and I'll see you guys next time.